Okay. Okay, good evening. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so accustomed to doing these in the evening. How's everybody doing? Come on in, come on in. I see new friends. I see WealthyU members excited to be here. First, I want to ask, can you see me and can you hear me? Can you see me and can you hear me? If you can see and hear me in the chat, let me know. Yes, 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 yes. Well, you couldn't hear my music, so I was a little concerned about that, but let me make sure that I share my audio. I tell you, that's probably what it is. Awesome. Awesome. Well, good afternoon, everybody who is ready to become a 401k millionaire. If you're ready to become a 401k millionaire, in the chat, put me. If you are ready, come on. Who's not? Come on now, y'all. Who's ready to become? That's right. That's right. Because I'm going to be sharing some really exciting information with you today. Come on in so that I can give you a shout out. One of the things I like to do, though, for some of you, I see we have a number of members, but for some of you who are here, who has not seen or heard me before? If you haven't seen or heard me before, put me in the chat. Because I see lots of old friends. If you haven't seen or heard of Deborah Owens, founder and CEO of WealthyU, America's Wealth Coach, put me in the chat. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to hold you to it. And also, I know that many of you are at work. But if you can turn on your cameras, I would love it if you will, because the bottom line is it gives me energy from you when I can see you. But if you can't turn on your camera, that's cool too. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Deborah Owens, founder and CEO, also known as America's Wealth Coach. And I wanted to do this masterclass. You know, oftentimes we're doing our sessions and it's one session and then I'm gone. We also in WealthyU do a lot of challenges. And typically they're at night. So I want you to know that this is 5 days. I'm going to be succinct because I know many of you are at work. So this is not going to be me preaching at you. This is going to be you doing the work. So for the next 5 days, all of you, did you get your workbook? If you didn't get a copy of this workbook, I want one of our team members to put the workbook in the chat. Okay, if you did not get a workbook, uh, put workbook in the chat if you didn't get it. Okay, if you don't have it, but my goodness, we've been emailing you, texting you. I don't know how it's even possible. Okay, so a number of people don't have it. So we're going to put the workbook in the chat. If we could do that as well, because I want to make sure that you guys have a copy of it, because I want to give you guys our itinerary, our marching orders for the next 5 days. I'm actually going to be traveling too, so I might be teaching from airports, planes, trains, and automobiles too, but don't hold that against me. It's just the life I live. And if I waited for 5 days where I was not traveling, guess what? We wouldn't be doing this 401k millionaire makeover. So I'm excited that you're all here today. And yeah, because Anita, that last K should be a lowercase k. That last K should be a lowercase k. Okay, so I'm going to see if 401k workbook. Yes, so everyone tell me if you've downloaded the workbook. Try the second link, affirmative. So let me just see who's in the room with me. Who's in the room with me? So tell me who you are and where you're from, okay? Introduce yourselves. Tell me where you are and who you're from, where you're from, so I can give you a shout out. I see we have a number of members in the house. Antoinette, I see you. Let's see, Cassandra Bailey. Girl, you in the car, you better turn that, I said turn your video on, but I'm not getting in trouble, girl. So good to see you. A lot of new friends, a lot of old friends. I see that our team members are here. Staffing me today is Sharice Irons along with Anita Jenkins. So if you're going to need anything, if you need anything, they're going to be reaching out to you as well. Okay, so yeah, we had over 100 folks sign up for this. So I'm going to keep talking, give folks a few minutes to come in. Let's see. Oh, all over. Cindy from Silver Spring, my neck of the woods. I'm in Laurel, Maryland. Heather from the DMV, one of our members. Good to see you. Marianne from Upper Marlboro. Lily from Austin, Texas. That's right, Lily, my good girlfriend who got me into this role. Cindy is the reason that she's here and that I'm here today. Oh, Tracy, sorry to hear it, but no power. Goodness, there's a lot of stuff going on in Texas. So April, Camp Springs, Maryland. Good to see all of you. Okay, guys, so get your workbook out, print it out, put it on your computer, whatever you're going to do, because here's what I want all of you to understand is that the number of 401k millionaires, and I'm going to show some stats because I love numbers, okay? Like numbers are my love language, and I believe numbers tell a story, right? And so even though the number of 401k millionaires is increasing at a rapid rate, I'm going to show you some stats from Fidelity. Far too many women, far too many first generation investors are not in that group. And why do you think that is? Why do you think far too many of us, if we're new investors, are in that group? Do you think it's because we don't have knowledge? Do you think it's because it's just complex? I got you, Tina. Perfect. Do you think, what is the reason for it? So Tina says lack of knowledge. Marion says exposure. Yeah, so keep going. Like, what is the reason for it? Well, here's what I want all of you to know. We're on a mission to help 1 million of you get to 1 million. And every day, many of the people in our WealthyU community are going to their first 6, their first 7 figures. And so I'm going to be sharing with you not only the stats this week, but you're going to see real people like yourself who, okay, that's right. So knowledge and fear, that's right. Complexity and lack of knowledge and fear. No knowledge, the preference is give me all my money. That's right, Jamila. I want to keep all of my coins as my as my millennial has. Some jobs don't have 401k, but I don't just want to say 401k. It could be an IRA, retirement assets. There are no excuses. So one of the things I'm gonna set the stage for y'all. Y'all need to already know. My members like Stephanie, like Heather, one of our newer members. Who else is in the house with me? Deneen. Some of our new members, they know in WealthyU, we're winners. And I want to define what a winner is. A winner has a desire to become that 401k millionaire, because I'm going to be talking a little bit about mindset today. Today, I'm going to be talking, well, not today, but this week, I'm going to talk about mindset, because what I would say is for many of you, the reason you're not 401k millionaires, if you look at yourself in the mirror, that is the person holding you back, and so much of it's mindset. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. Also, what's one of the, so I want to, so winner, right? Want it? And here's the other thing I want all of you to know. I am responsible. Nobody's coming to save you, okay? And then lastly, no excuses. And I say that because in so many cases that I've seen, so much of this is, so agree or disagree with me. Financial ignorance is expensive. Would you agree with that? Write that down. Financial ignorance is expensive. And so during this week, what I'm going to be sharing with you are some real practical tools, and you're going to be getting insight to the knowledge that we leverage, right, in WealthyU. So Tracy says agree, right? Delisha says agree, right? Financial ignorance is expensive. And so what I want you to know this, is that the only thing standing between you and the financial success you desire and deserve, all it is knowledge. But I'm not going to give you guys a get out of jail free card. But what I also am going to say is, for the past 20 years, I've been on this journey. And on this journey, it's been twists and turns. First, I thought I could write books. Then I thought I could do workshops. Then I thought I could start purse groups. Anybody want to see what this journey has been like? I love it during the first session to just show you. Anybody want to see if you want to see what my journey has been like, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this, right? Then in the chat, okay, so Tracy says yes, Marion says yes. Anybody want to see what this journey has been about? Well, I think we'll start there. So I'm going to just share with you what these past 20 years have been like from my perspective. So,
are you ready to take a leading role in your finances? Yes.
We're joined right now by author of the financial self-help book, A Purse of Your Own.
Deborah Owen, she wrote it. She's the mastermind behind this easy guide, and she's here now.
Women often get started later. We take care of everyone else, and we don't put anything into our purse.
Look at your neighbor and tell her, I'm prepared to prosper. Yes.
Author and wealth coach Deborah Owens uses powerful personal stories, humor, and the purse to show women how to manage their money.
I often hear women say, well, I don't do numbers. Well, the fact of the matter is we are responsible for 90% of the buying decisions in households.
And what I believe is each one of you in this room has the power. And so I am calling on you to take action.
Growth often comes disguised as adversity, when in fact, it is a gift that's being given to you so that you can grow.
Problems are opportunities. And what I want our viewers to understand is you don't need to react to short-term volatility.
I'm really looking forward to hearing what Deborah has to say.
My advice to Neville, start investing in that SEP IRA now. We need to shift, Roland. We need to shift from what I call this income mindset to a wealth mindset. And what that means is focusing on our personal balance sheet and making sure that our net worth is going up.
So if there is anyone sitting in this audience who believes I'm not smart enough, I don't have any money, kick all those doubts to the side.
I think truly the goal for every woman should be financial freedom, and that's when I don't have to work because my money is working for me.
All of you sitting in this room have the ability to create the wealth and to achieve financial freedom. You simply have to decide.
That's right. You simply have to decide. The point being that you have everything you need to be everything you need to be. But it all starts with the first thing that we have to do is acknowledge our state, right? Our current state. So to get from one level to the next, we have to acknowledge our current state. We cannot change what we will not acknowledge. And so for the next 5 days, that's agree or disagree. Excellent. So for the next 5 days, we are going to be rolling up our sleeves and really making what do I want to call it? This is a makeover, right? So what you are being exposed to during these 5 days with me is typically what everyone in our community and everyone that goes into our programs, the knowledge that they assess and then they apply. So day one, we are going to take our WealthyU assessment, and that's going to give you a really good sense if you're on track or off track. And for those of you who want to know how you can get on track and have one of our team members give you some insight on, based on your questionnaire, what you need to focus on, you're going to be able to do that. Now, day two is our financial makeover. And I got to tell you, that's where the rubber meets the road. This is where so many people in WealthyU. So let me ask you a question. How many of you feel like, oh, I don't have any money, I don't have enough? One of the reasons I don't invest in my 401k is because, I want to keep all my coins, as Jamila says. How many of you, any of you agree with that? Like, there's not enough. Well, agree. Marion says agree. Delisha says she's raising her hand. Well, tomorrow we're going to do a financial makeover, and I want you to see that a lot of us are buying the things and not investing in the things. So we're really going to take a look at your cash flow and where your money's going. Is your behavior aligned to you achieving your goals? Day three, and this is huge. It's going to be our wealthy mindset quiz, and I'm going to be really sharing with you why some folks are getting to 1 million and others aren't. And a lot of it is mindset, a lot of it is fear, a lot of it is lack of knowledge. I'm not going to argue that. In day four, we're going to identify what your wealth gap is. And then you're going to be having conversations with us about what you need to close that wealth gap. And so I just want to begin. I'm going to set the stage very, yes, but I used to think that before I met you. That's right, Tracy. Tracy's not new to this. She's true to it as well. And what so many of the women that, so many in our community have been able to do is really take ownership of their financial success. It's just amazing when you become grateful for what you already have, how things change, because that it really is the capacity to give, right? Means that you have capacity, right? You have the capacity to give, and that in itself is a gift. And so I'm going to be talking a lot about mindset, a lot about but I'm not going to be talking. I am going to be sharing with you real life stories. And some of in our community are here and they're going to be sharing their actual stories. They already know. Some of them may not know, but I'm going to call on them as well. Okay, so let's get to it. So the first thing I want you to know is why I am excited is that the number of 401k millionaires is rising. So I want you to take a look at this, right? So Fidelity, the largest managers of retirement plans, what they're seeing is just a huge amount of people who are, well, what they're seeing, I won't say huge, but it's doubling, right? So as you can see, Q1 of 2019, how many accounts there were, right? So this is 200. Okay. So as you can imagine, those people got to, so then it went to 400, right? But what happened in 2021, 2022 is we saw the market decline, right? And now the market is back up, but the fact is not only that number is double what it was from 2019. So what I want you to know, the story that is telling, this is telling, is that stay the course, right? Regardless of the ups and downs of the market. And when you do that, your money can grow more rapidly. But the fact is, 400,000 people is not enough. And if I really looked at this number, right? If I actually delved into who has actually been able to achieve this great milestone, it's leaving a lot of people behind. I'll be honest. If you're a first generation investor and for the past 5 years, we've had WealthyU community. I've been coaching many of you. And the fact is, many of you would already be millionaires, 401k millionaires, if you simply had access to the right knowledge. What you're going to learn this week is that far too many of you, it is not for the sake of you not having discipline. Okay, it's not for the sake of you who has been contributing to their 401k for at least 10 years. If you've been contributing to your 401k for at least 10 years, put me in the chat or put 10 in the chat so I know. Okay, if you have been contributing to your 401k for at least 20 years, put 20 in the chat. If you've been contributing to your 401k at least 20 years, put 20 in the chat, right? Cassandra says 2020. How many of you are 20 have been contributing at least 25 years? 25 years. If you've okay, Stephanie says 25, right? Well, that discipline with the power of compounding, most of you, and I don't know what your numbers are, but we're going to give you an opportunity to allow us to look at your numbers, right? Would already be 401k millionaires. So it's not really a function of the amount you're putting in. That's what I want, the amount you're contributing. The most important lever that determines whether or not you hit this milestone is the rate of return you're earning on your investments. And here's what I know to be true for many of you, you don't know what you've been earning, right? So question I have for you is how many of you actually know what your personal rate of return is? Meaning you've been contributing and you know how much you've been earning, right? So I want to share with you, I have recently in the past, I would say year, met with so many people and they had negative returns over like 20 years and they didn't even realize it. And why? How could you have a negative 3% return or 4%, meaning your money's not growing? You know why? Because most of you are just looking at that account going up in value. but it's going up in value, not necessarily because the performance, the returns that you're getting on your money is going up in value simply because you're putting money in, right? So how many of you, you open your statement, you look at it, it's like, yeah, that's great. I had, 110 now and I'm at 115. That's good. I'm doing good, right? Not realizing that, in 6 months you put $5,000 in. And so part of that rise in value is not that your money's working, simply that you've been putting money in. Is this making sense to you guys? So what I want you to know is that's what this week is about. This week is about you really getting a sense, right, of how your money is working. And so, Marianne, I don't mean personal rate of return year to date. I mean your historical personal rate of return. And your historical personal rate of return, I can tell you unequivocally, cannot be 28%, right? Because the market simply hasn't performed in that manner. And so that's what I mean by financial ignorance is expensive, and you have to be able to calculate that. And for so many, Tina says less than 5%. And for those of you who are in WealthyU and you've had the benefit of a strategy session with me, and I see Stephanie Rosu, and by the way, Stephanie, we ate that cake up for my birthday. I just want you to know that. Delicious pound cakes. So for many of you who are in this room with me today, many of you know that once you were able to delve a little deep into your numbers, understand what you've done. But today we're going to take an assessment. And so I want everybody, y'all ready? If you're ready, put ready. I don't want nobody getting ready to get ready. That's right. We going to learn today. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so this assessment is really designed to give you a sense of if you are on track or not. Okay, again, you can't change what you will not acknowledge. So the number of people with $1 million retirement plans has doubled in the past decade. I just showed you a few years. That rate is rapidly increasing because the market performance, right? Like the number of people with 401k millionaires is increasing faster just based on the performance of the market, right? So we're going to complete this questionnaire to see if you're on track. Okay, so number one, and basically just let me help you. Let me give you some insight into how this assessment came to be. Basically, Fidelity did a study on what were the behaviors of the people in their plan who actually hit that $1 million. And so that's where this information is coming. That's why you're assessing yourself. You want to, are you doing the things? Are you doing all the things, right, that people who hit 401k status do? And I want you to be honest with this, about this, so because you can't change what you will not acknowledge, right? So the first question, I am maximizing my retirement plan contributions. A, I am investing 15% or more. B, and so 15% or more of your salary, of your income. Okay, I just want to be clear on that. I am investing 10% or more, or I am investing 5% or 5. So A, B, or C. Okay. Question number 2. Okay, my savings are aligned to the retirement savings factor. So hold on one second. I just want you guys to see what that factor is. I actually have it on a worksheet. Well, actually, you know what, guys? Go to day 4, and I want you to look at that savings factor. Go to day 4, Wealth Gap worksheet, and it tells you At 35, you should have 2 times your annual income. At 40, you should have 3 times your annual income. At 50, you should have 6 times your annual income. Well, I skipped 45 4 times, 50 6 times, 55 7 times, 68 8 times your annual salary, right? So for example, here's what I want you to do. Look at this chart, look at your age, right? So let's say if you're 50, you should have 6 times. So 6 times your annual salary, if you're making 100,000, would be 600,000. Y'all with me? Okay, good. So that's what I want you to assess. I'm aligned with the chart for my age. I'm slightly behind the chart for my age, or I am not aligned, A, B, or C. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. I am not aligned at all. Okay. Again, we can't change what we will not acknowledge. So on a scale of 1 to 10, rate my investment knowledge. Okay, so you either know or you don't on this terminology I'm using. So you're going to give you A, I understand historical returns and how to analyze my portfolio. So you're able to go into your 401k, actually look at the performance of those funds and make choices, right? Or B is I understand historical returns, but not how to analyze my portfolio. Meaning, you know that stocks have historically had a return of 10%. Bonds have had a return of about 6%, and money markets about 3%, right? So if you understand that, B. But if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about right now, okay, put C. And the reason this is important, I want you to understand why this is important, is because not understanding this, you know how I said financial ignorance is expensive? That is why your money isn't working, because you don't even understand how to make it work. Are y'all with me? So, rule of thumb, if your rate of return, okay, the chart is in the workbook. Okay. Okay, you mean the other chart. Yeah, the other one. Okay. A, B, or C. Okay. So, number 4, my portfolio investment allocation is aligned to my goals and risk tolerance. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, if you are more than 20, so as a rule of thumb, let me give you a rule of thumb. Take your age. If you're really conservative, subtract it by 100, and that is how much you would have in stock. Okay? Take your age, and so if you're 40, then 60% of your investment should be in stock, and even that is conservative. Okay? So, is that true? What I just gave you, is it somewhat true or is it false? A, B, or C? Put A, B, or C in the chat. Now, this is important. Okay? I have an investment account established for each of my goals. So, some of you want to buy a second home, right? You've got the retirement account. Some of you, own a home, need to have some kind of account set aside so that you are, if something were to happen, that emergency savings account. And oh, by the way, the most important thing, I've seen a lot of turnover lately in different careers. And the fact is that the more money you make, the longer it's going to take you to find another opportunity of that same income level. And so that's why it's even more important for many folks to have higher savings. So HR.com or I think it's SHRM, right? Their calculation was that for every $10,000 you earn, that's how long, Tracy says, that's right. I just had to drain my investment account to pay for HVAC, right? Like stuff is, life be lifing, right? So here's the thing though, like HR did and I love these rules of thumb. So for every $10,000 you earn, that's how long it's going to take you to find another opportunity. So if you make 100,000, it might take you 10 months to find another opportunity. For those of you who are in the $150,000, $200,000, it could take you 20 months. And so that's why you need an account for every goal. Okay, next question. I am leveraging all of my wealth building options. Stocks, 401k, Roth IRA. So you've built up, you're building a portfolio outside of your 401k. You have a 401k account. You've established an IRA. If you make too much money to do an IRA, you've got a backdoor Roth. True, somewhat true, or false? Now here's the other thing. A, B, or C, guys, in the chat, A, B, or C. All right, now here's the most important thing. Okay, Cheryl says B, Jamila says B. Okay, somewhat true, good. Heather says C, Mary says B, right. Okay, and for those of you in WealthyU, you've expanded your opportunity, right? And then C, and here's the thing I gotta tell you, we are about to go through the greatest wealth transfer ever, right? And that means that for so many, there is someone retiring or turning 65. 10,000 people are turning 65 every day. Now, the truth is, I don't care how young you are, how old you are, so much wealth is lost because we haven't done the proper estate planning. And so in WealthyU, we're big on wills and trust and making sure that you lock down, because you could build wealth in a generation and you can lose it in the next. And in fact, that's what the studies show, is that the people who earned it and have built wealth and left a legacy, within 2 generations, that money is gone. You know, I just saw this crazy story and I didn't know it. And it was the story of the Vanderbilts. You know, Gloria Vanderbilt. Y'all know Gloria Vanderbilt. Remember Gloria Vanderbilt jeans? Well, honey, look, the Vanderbilts had 10 houses on Fifth Avenue, right? I mean, talk about money, okay? Now, on the other hand, the Rockefellers, you know who Rockefeller is, like he was the industry baron, and you can go around, you see Rockefeller trust funds everywhere. Rockefellers are still rolling, okay? The Vanderbilts lost that money within 1 generation, all of that wealth. The Rockefellers didn't. What do you think they had in common? I mean, why do you think that is? Why did one family with all this money keep it and the other ones lose it? You know why? Because the Rockefellers set up a trust. And that trust said you could only spend so much each year from the earnings of the assets. Is that crazy? And so that's the issue. So the other thing we talk about in WealthyU is legacy, because why it's so important. Andrew Cooper's Gloria's son. That's right, Tracy. Isn't that crazy, Marzette? So the other reason this knowledge is so important for you to have is so that you can pass it on to your children. Are y'all with me? Like, I want you to know that the knowledge of how to build wealth and to leverage your 401ks and to build wealth through that 401ks, which is where most of the wealth is for many people, right? Is so that your kid, you will have that knowledge and you can pass it on. Make sense? All right. I said I was going to try to be out of here by, I was going to do this in 30 minutes. But what I want to share with you really is someone who applied what I've talked about, okay? And now they're on their way, okay? In some cases, applying this within a short period of time, their portfolios are up significantly. Oh, that's right. So you can build this wealth, but not only do you have to build it, but you have to protect it and keep it. And so I'm gonna call on one of our members, and I want to see if she'll just share what her experience has been in applying and learning the knowledge that we have. And I'm looking right now at Stephanie, my delicious cakes, and I wondered, she shared just in our community her own experience. This is her, I think, your second year now, Stephanie. I would love if you would just share how, first of all, what was your assessment? Like how many A's, how many B's did you have? That's what I want to ask.
I didn't do it here, but
Yeah.
I know when I did it, I was, let me look at the chart. I could tell you where I was.
Oh, no worries. But I bet you if you answered these questions now, most of them would be A, B, but they weren't there when you started. Would you agree with that?
They were a little there. I think I was at, I probably was at the second one, achieving seven figure. It was in my reach. And the reason it was in my reach, did all your free classes.
Okay.
And so I had gotten myself to as far as I could go. But what I found out when you were saying doing that assessment, we were in, I think it was called a target date fund with the 401k. And so we weren't growing and we did not know why. And so in doing that assessment, finding out we were in that target date fund, they put us in there. We didn't know how to read it. I was intimidated by stocks. And Deborah, when I did the assessment with you, our portfolio in less than a year grew over 30%.
Unbelievable.
Yes, we were like, wow, we were blown away. It was like, wow, how could this happen? So we know in all of those years where we could be now if we would have known.
Absolutely. But I want to ask you a question about the assessment. And the thing is, I mean, amazing. And that's what I want you guys to know. Like, this doesn't take long, but the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Are y'all with me? And so if we were to answer the question about, do you know how historical returns? Do you know historical rate of returns? Do you know how to analyze your portfolio?
Know that.
Where are you now versus where you were?
I know how to do all of that now. I did not know how to do that before. And, I shared this when we were with Fidelity. When we called Fidelity and started asking them questions, we were so shocked that the advisor could not answer the questions. And he was like, wow, you're knowledgeable. And I'm going, wow, you're not. So that took us by surprise. And I wanted to see what his recommendation was, and what his recommendation and he came back with was something that we did not want to do because our money would have not continued to have grown. And so doing you do a strategic advisory with us, and doing that with you, we only invested in 3 of those funds, no, 4, and did 25, 25, 25. And doing that, which, ladies, I was shocked going into this. I thought Deborah was just going to tell us what to do. And she didn't. And initially I was a little disappointed. I'm like, well, what am I paying you for? And she said, to empower you, you need to learn how to do it. And it took me a long time because I had to rewatch the videos. I had to go back, utilize my ambassador. I had to do all that. But I am so glad that she did that and not just tell us, because now I have that knowledge. And I was able to go back and not do what my Fidelity advisor was advising me to do, but to do what was best for me to help my portfolio to grow over 30% in less than.
Oh, you know, Stephanie, give Stephanie some hearts, some love, some reactions in the chat. And I just want you to know, you know, I didn't tell Stephanie I was going to call on her, right? Like, I want you guys to know how fluid. What I want you to know is that it happen to Stephanie. It can happen for you. That's right. We do not tell you what to do. The goal is to transfer. Did you guys see that recording, like my journey, you know, from TV, from writing books to touring with TD Jakes, all of it, right? What became clear, it wasn't enough to you guys go to enough conferences and get motivated, right? And you feel good. And then you come away and guess what? Nothing's changed.
Right.
And since starting WealthyU as a coaching and curriculum platform, we've helped thousands of you now have that knowledge, right? That now you're going to be able to pay for it to your family.
Deborah,
And
can I add to?
yes, go ahead.
As I stated, I was intimidated by stocks. And since then, I know Anita is on here. She does our stock. She helps us too, where she has you go through and actually do it and you're learning. And I opened up a stash account, and now that is really growing. It's over 12% there in me selecting the
Excellent.
stocks and doing that. And I've only been doing that maybe, I think Anita, maybe 6 or 7 months. And to seeing my portfolio grow, seeing how to select stocks, how to do things. So in addition to the 401k, you told us to get a brokerage account. And so we did that. And so I'm ready now.
Okay,
I will
I'm
be
so proud.
one
Let's
of
give her a
the
hand.
1 in a million. Yeah, I'm going to be one of those.
Absolutely. And so that's the point. That's the point of this week. All right, guys. The point of this week is we just took an assessment. And so how many of you want to be like Stephanie, like want to make over a financial makeover where you're in just less than 1 year, you're up 30%. Now, let me just put a preface. I'm not guaranteed. Like you got it. Heather says, yes, me. Heather, you're already in. That's right. You're already on your way. And the point I want to, Marcia says, me. Cheryl says, financial makeover needed. That's right. So that's what this week is about. Certainly, you know, we're not covering everything that we do in WealthyU, but this really is about you. I need you to get in the right mindset. You guys understand what I mean? Like, I need you to have the right mindset. And what the right mindset means is that you are going to take ownership. How many of you want to be winners, right? Winning at wealth. You want it? You're going to be a 401k millionaire? I am responsible. No excuses. And the fact that you're here today tells me that you're on the right track. So one of the things I want to invite you guys to do is if we could put the link to apply. Like you took this assessment, if you want someone to kind of just go over it with you and give you a sense during this financial makeover week, you know, what you should be focused on. And then eventually, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to invite you. I'm on a mission. I want to get 1 million of you to 1 million in your 401ks, right? And so I'm going to invite you to join the same programs that is responsible for helping thousands of people. And you'll be hearing from some of them a little later on in the week. Anita has put the link in the chat. Just apply so we can get some insight about where you are now. And we're going to reach out to you and give you a sense of what you want to focus on in the next week. I just want to give you guys a heads up. Tomorrow, I just realized we are probably, well, I'm not going to say probably. I just got to give myself some leeway, right? Because I'm on a flight And so we are going to start at 1 o'clock tomorrow, 1 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock. I'll have Stephanie send out some links, 1 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock, right? I'm on my way to Colorado Springs to a conference with some big wig women because it's all about being in the room, being in proximity to knowledge. I am a big proponent of that. The fact that you're here today, realize it makes you realize the power of a network. And did Stephanie in the chat, did Stephanie inspire you today? If Stephanie inspired you, put yes in the chat. Cheryl says yes. Lily says yes. Antoinette says yes. Tina says yes. And it's what's interesting is how many of our existing members are here today. I love it. Heather, Antoinette, Tracy, all of you know, yes. Cassandra, yes. Natalie, yes. She inspired you? Right. Well, what I want you to know is that if Stephanie can do it, you can too. Right. But it all begins with taking the first step. That's what this 401k millionaire makeover is about. It's about showing you exactly what you need to do to accelerate your financial growth. So I want to meet you right back here at 1 o'clock tomorrow. We are going into where the rubber meets the road. So I'm going to give you guys a head start. You guys need to already start looking at your bank account statements and looking at where your money is going. That is tomorrow. We are going to show you exactly what you need to do to stop making excuses about what you do and do not have, and have you understand that a lot of you have thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars going in your hands every month, and it is not serving you. And we're going to show you exactly what you need to do to take ownership of your financial success. What we call it in WealthyU is shifting from an earner to an owner mindset. Earning and spending your money versus owning and investing your money. That is where the rubber meets the road. So with that, I'll see you right back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And so give me your takeaways in the chat. What did you take away from today? What was your aha? In the chat. Like if you do, what was your aha? What did you learn? Mindset matters. Absolutely, Cheryl. What else? What else did you hear? Any takeaways from what Stephanie said? Today is the day move. That's it. Latarsha, that's right. Shift your mindset. Again, make sure you apply. If you want to learn what to focus on, let's put that bit.ly link. Make sure every one of you, certainly not our existing members, you guys already get strategic advisory and the benefit. Knowledge over fear. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Anything else? You guys are on fire. Okay, so we'll see you right back here at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Deborah Owens, founder and CEO of WealthyU, where we're on a mission to help 1 million of you get to 1 million. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'll see you right back here at 1 o'clock. Excellent.